All right.
All right, we are live. Take it away, Mike.
Hey everyone. Welcome to the Goody Reader Live. We are Michael and Peter, and
Yeah,
today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to
a
be
lot of
talking
things.
about Kaleido 3. We will talk about Gallery 3, Spectra 3100. Also, a lot of new Kindle news. There's been a ton of Kindle development since we've talked to you last. So there's all sorts of stuff. Onyx Books just announced two new devices. So first of all, Peter, how are you?
Yeah. Another day. We got our usual suspects here with us: Stephen Prosser, Rob Hernandez from Mexico. So a lot of people are stopping by to hear what we have to report, as we have a lot of things. I've written down just stuff on my end as well that we need to go over. We have missed the April edition of this because we had some stuff we had to do with the trade show, and we were going through, year-end financials and all that stuff. So we'll be doing two this month. We'll be doing the one right now, kind of midway through the month, to go over everything that we have experienced in the e-paper world, and then we'll do one at the end of the month as well, just because.
Yeah. So where do you want to start?
I'll just go over a couple of mine because the Amazon one is going to be a huge one, and I'll let you mostly take the reins on that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff from Amazon. But first off, the biggest thing, at least in the world of Google Play, and this is, it cannot be understated how massive this is. And I understand a lot of people would just say, "Oh, you could just root anything and put Google Play." Sure, but for the average person that doesn't know how to root stuff and doesn't know how to, flash BIOS and stuff like that, BigMe has Google Play now. And that's huge because right now BigMe is the only guys to do a 10.3-inch color device. They have 5 color devices. They're the only guys running 10.3 color out of anybody. Onyx doesn't do it. Nobody does it. And now they have Google Play. There's only 3 manufacturers that have Google Play: Onyx, Boyu, MeBook, and Dasung. All of these guys require you to do weird things with your device. Basically, trick Google into thinking your device is something else, an HTC tablet, a Sony Xperia tablet, whatever. And then it does this thing where it's like 48 hours you can use Google Play. BigB has figured all that out. You literally just do an over-the-air software update on their devices, 3 of which can do Google Play right now. The other 11 will have Google Play in the future, a couple of weeks. You just do an update and you have Google Play. Fit and finished, run and go. That's it. It works. It has Google Play, and that's massive because that means you now have 10.3-inch color Wacom note taking Google Play with no restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the times, I guess people who are Android users, if their phone can't use Google Play, it's kind of useless. But in the
It's
in
true.
the e-ink world, there's very few, very precious line of devices, or even just devices
Yeah,
that could actually, like, I don't know, like access Google Play. The vast majority of Android e-readers, they kind of force you to sideload in your own apps, or
that's right.
you have to sideload in an alternative app store, download apps manually from your browser. And I mean, there's countless in phones that make you do that. So
Yeah.
if you could choose between an e-note or an e-reader that has Google Play versus one that doesn't, even if it's like a brand you haven't heard of before,
Yeah.
you'll probably perk up. And I mean, let's face it. When if you're buying e-notes, whether you're buying it from Onyx or Big Me or Remarkable or whatever, it's like you're spending between four and like $800, nine hundred
Yeah.
dollars, and you're gonna be using that for a number of years, and it's ease of use. And if you could make a decision to go with Google Play, I mean, it just makes keeping apps updated like so much easier.
It's so much easier. And you've now gone from these weird proprietary Chinese only app stores that everyone gives you, Hisense, Hanvon, Bigme. They always give you these weird app stores. Now you're using Google Play, and there's millions and millions of apps. I'm talking Google Drive, Microsoft Outlook, Pokemon Go, and just anything. Like actually anything. And remember, Bigme is using the absolute latest version of Android in the entire world on e-paper devices, just like Onyx, but now they now have Google Play to a level of stability that we've never seen before. So, yeah, if you want to check it out, go to our YouTube channel. It's amazing. If you're interested in e-paper, which is why you're here, it's a big thing. It's not a big thing in the world, but it's a really big thing in e-ink.
Yeah. What else do you got, Pete?
I got some more here. Hisense has been kicking up just a dust cloud of amazement. We put a unboxing video, and I think it went like 12,000 views in a couple days. The Hisense High Reader has been making waves in the e-paper world. It's an all-new designed phone-looking kind of thing, and it's kind of a premium e-reader with really nice design elements. And they actually, you broke, Mike. I think that they're releasing the A9, which is the smartphone version of it, kind of replacing the A5 and the A7 of yesteryear. But we were a little bit disappointed because neither of them were color. And we thought that they were going to do Kaleido 3, which is usually what Hisense does.
Yeah, traditionally
Color.
what Hisense does is they release a black and white e-ink version, and then they do like a color version like a month later. So the High Reader is like a premium device. It's like $4.99, so it's like it's hella expensive, but it looks really good. You've done some videos on it, right?
Yeah, it looks really nice. They did a lot of stylistic things with like engravements and the speaker port looking like an equalizer. It is a little bit expensive. Actually, I don't think it's that expensive. I think it's $3.99, which still is. People are saying, why isn't it $45 like a Kindle? And it's like, well, e-readers aren't just e-reader doesn't mean cheap. That's never how it's been. I mean, e-readers can range from $40, $19 if you find an eBay Texture Beagle, all the way up to 1,000, depending on what you're buying, what kind of features you want. It is a very premium device, and yeah, like Mike said, what Hisense usually does is they do like the A5, and then they cannibalize it and do the A5C, and that's a color. And then they did the A5 Pro, and then the A5 Pro CC, and then the A7 and the A7 CC. So basically what they do is, they release a black and white, then they're like, okay, people like it, and here's the color version to just blow that all away. And we suspect probably not on the High Reader, but probably on the A9, they're going to do a color. And it would only make sense to do Kaleido 3. Kaleido Plus is probably not going to be employed in anything being released from now on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say like if everyone will just automatically go with Kaleido 3. I mean, there's been no devices yet this year that have employed
True.
it. There could be some devices in the pipeline that already have said, we're going to use Kaleido 2, and they're just waiting for like mass production to like ramp up or something like that. But I have a feeling that if Hisense does do like Kaleido 3 versions of the High Reader or the A9 smartphone, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Yeah, it is very evident. I mean, they've done it 3 times already. Every single time they've done it. So, we have some coverage on that on our YouTube channel. I'll just do one more thing before we get into the Amazon stuff while everyone's kind of here grouped together, because it's some big news. TCL, we received our sample of the TCL finally, and to our disappointment, the TCL next paper was not the next paper. It's the next paper, but it's not. So basically, this game-changing e-paper alternative technology that we thought we would get just ended up being a regular tablet with a huge battery. So we have some coverage on our channel. We did a live showcase. A lot of you guys have been asking about it. No, it's not the TCL with the reflective e-paper like a Kyobo Mirasol. It's just a tablet. So if you want to check it out, it is on YouTube. It's sitting there. We'll get to a review video when the dust settles around all this new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, Onyx Books just announced the Poke 4 and Poke
Yeah.
4S. It was at an event
Yeah.
in China, and so we had, like, as you know, we talk a lot about pocketbook, like, on, we do a lot of videos, we do a lot of like reviews and stuff, but they never really gave us the heads up that this was coming, and they usually do. So it's just kind of weird that they never really told us about it. So these could be just Chinese exclusives, but I have a feeling that at least one of them will be available globally. So
Right.
um
Onyx just to give you guys a little bit of idea why Mike's saying that. Onyx basically has two companies. There's Onyx, which just exists in China. They have things like the Note X, the Kontiki, and all these other things. Then they have Onyx Books International, and those are the ones that we see, the ones that work with the English crowd, that have user manuals in multiple languages, that have, Google Play certification. Those are the ones we know, Onyx International. But the ones that they have, the Note X, the ones that like we're not allowed to even touch because we can't get them. Reviewing them, it would be like insert your mainland Chinese phone number. It's like no one has that. Like there's two kind of facets. So yeah, they let us know about everything. So why they didn't is probably because it doesn't belong to Onyx Books International. It belongs to Onyx Books mainland China is what we're thinking.
yeah, I mean, I know in the past, like with when they unveiled like the Mira and Mira Pro and
Yeah.
the Note 5 and the Note Air 2, they did like a Chinese only like video like for it, if you remember. Um
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they never did like an English video for it until like way later, but they gave us like at least a heads up that this was coming. So
Yeah.
Poke 4, it's pretty well the successor of the Poke 3. I guess there's a few things that that this version has that the old one doesn't. 64 levels of like cold and warm lighting, and it has a better quad core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. It's running Google Android 11 and has Google Play. The 4S is pretty well the same as like the Poke 4, except it only has 212 PPI instead of 300 PPI, and it has less storage. So
And it's cheaper.
yeah,
So they're
well,
giving you purchase
yeah.
options.
So I guess it's sort of like the Poke S will be the most affordable Onyx e-reader ever if they
Yeah.
release it internationally, and the Poke 4 will probably be on par with like what it sells for now, which is about like 189. So I have a
That
feeling.
is because they gave you Chinese pricing. I saw that when you did the story there. So it says, as it says on that image, which is their image, the Poke 4S is only $109. That's cheap.
Yeah, the Poke 4 is like 99 yuan.
999 CNY to USD is landing us at 149, 147. So both of these are going to be way cheaper than the Poke 3. And already the Poke 3 was the cheapest Onyx of all time,
Yeah, the
basically.
Poke 3
So
was
yeah,
1180 yuan. So
yeah.
I guess
So
that's.
the 799 4S, man, that's 115 bones. That's cheap for Google Play. Oh my gosh. And X mode?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It should
Wow.
be a winner, but as always, we have to sort of leave it up to the review to like see if it's
Yeah.
actually interesting or not.
Yeah, because not everything that we get that's like super high spec on paper is like the best thing ever. I remember like in memory, the only thing we've gotten north of octa-core was the the EE right by Whiskey. It was a deca-core processor, just packed with specs, and it's basically just a coaster. That thing was a throwaway unit. It was awful. So like, yeah, specs on paper isn't everything, people. So we're gonna have to leave it to the review, the little table read, the Zoom calls we do, and be like, this is either good or bad, and we'll kind of announce it.
Yeah. So why don't you? I have to do something really quick. Can you tell the people
Sure.
about Kaleido 3 and or Gallery 3?
Oh, geez, I'm nervous. Yeah, so we went to one of our guys went to Touch Taiwan, and we sent them. We had two guys on camera crew, sent them to Touch Taiwan 2022, which is in Taipei City, at the Nang Gang, sorry pronunciation, center downtown, and he gathered a lot of good stuff. So we have Kaleido 3 13.3-inch panels are real now. They're actually real. They were concept a while back, but now they're actually real. So you can get yourself a 13.3-inch panel. Has it been a has it been applied to anything that's an actual device yet and it's tooled and packaged? No. There's some frames that I think you can buy that that are just digital display kind of biased units, but nothing you can actually pick up and like take notes or draw on or anything. There's also a couple other things. There was Spectra 3100 and Gallery 3, and I believe actually Michael, when he gets back, he'll have more information than I do. Gallery 3, I think, is going to be employed in a lot more devices moving forward because it has, I think, a better color gamut, which means just like it's more stable, and I think it's better for color than standard E Ink Kaleido is. He'll have to confirm on that. We also saw some stuff on Spectra for display purposes. So like, when you go to your coffee shop, they'll have like a Spectra board, and you can get these really huge panels, 47 inches. The thing about Spectra is that it does this dithering thing, and there's only a few colors. Like, there's black, white, and gray, and I think there's like a color, so like an orange or a red or something. And it does this really spasm flashing thing in order to refresh. So it's basically suited for like, the McDonald's menu when you go to the cashier. It's not something that can refresh very quickly. But speaking of digital signage, we are going to a event here in Tokyo. Actually, me and the guys and the ladies and gentlemen, I'll say, three of us are going into Tokyo, and we are going to DSJ Digital Signage Japan 2022. It will be taking place at some messe hall gathering of sorts, and we'll be doing some videos there, and that's going to be really nice because it's digital signage. So I know that Lenovo and HP will be there, and SES and Magotag, and I'm assuming a trade show called DSJ Digital Signage Japan. They weren't on the exhibitor list, but maybe they're not there with their own booth. But E-Ink has to be there in some capacity. They have to be on the event floor in some physical, tangible capacity. Mike, I heard that you're back, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Explain to the wonderful folks here about Kaleido 3 Gallery Spectra with its like refresh rate and everything. I was actually throwing it over to you because you'd probably know a little bit more about Gallery than I did, as you were kind of coordinating with our guy at Touch Taiwan and stuff. So I kind of explained Spectra and Kaleido to them, but why don't you explain the future of Gallery and its application?
Okay, well, I just want to touch on Gallery 3 for a minute and just like what are the differences between E8 Kaleido Plus, which we've seen over the course of the last year, the Nova
So
3
many
color,
concepts.
like all the Big Me
2.
products.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's been a lot of devices, even like so there's been a lot of devices that have had it. It's basically like Kaleido 1 and 2 could only display 100 ppi, and that's always like kind of sucked, especially for like larger devices, whereas Kaleido 3 does 150 ppi. And so you're basically getting an extra 50 ppi extra on this device, and it also uses new comfort gaze technology, which is basically like a new front light system. So basically, like in the past, Kaleido 1 and 2 really wasn't made for front lights in mind, which is why most of the devices that came out never had a color temperature system. It only had a front lit display, so only white LEDs. So now Kaleido 3 was made with the intention of warm light as well, so you'll be able to have it, and it's actually compatible with E-Ink Carta 1200 and 1250. So these new screen technologies, 1200 is in the new Kindle Paperwhite 11th generation and a signature edition, as well as the new Kobo e-readers that came out like last year. So the Sage, and so the reason why all of those are 25% faster. And Amazon kind of mentioned that in their PR material. They're like, the new Kindle, it's like, 25 to 50% faster. It's because they're using a new Carta screen. And
Yeah.
Carta 1250 is pretty well for e-notes, like in mind. So there's just less, you get all the benefits of Carta 1200, but 1250 is the only really good thing about it is that when you're drawing on a screen with the stylus, the latency has been like lowered. So
Yeah, the Quadernos use 1250.
yep.
That's
So
fast. It's really
there really
fast.
hasn't been a lot of, aside from Amazon and Kobo, there really hasn't been a lot of companies that use 1200. For 1250, it's like Fujitsu's like, and I think the Ellipsa are like
The Ellipsa, yeah.
only ones that did that. It's also compatible with on-cell touch, which is the only company that like did this like on a product is the Onyx Book Nova 3 Color. So they're the
Yeah.
only company that use on-cell
Oh yeah.
touch. So what
No, Nova Air C.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. That's
So
okay. Yeah.
the basically the to give you a sense of what on-cell touch does, it basically incorporates more layers of the screen into one single layer. So it like incorporates the touch layer and the
Display
e-paper
itself.
itself
Yeah.
in one piece of e-paper, whereas in the past they have the touchscreen layer on one piece of paper and then like the e-paper display on top of each other, and then you maybe
Yeah.
have a glass display, a color layer, and then you have like all these like different layers. So I think what e-ink is kind of wanting to do is incorporate more technology into a single piece of paper as opposed to like having multiple of them like touch on top of each other and things like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you go to our YouTube channel, we actually did an extensive teardown of what it goes into an e-reader. Well, I won't get onto it now, but there's, you hear things like color layer, all that. There's a lot of layers in front of your eyes and the screen. Go to our YouTube channel. We actually tear off into 45-degree angles every single layer of the screen. Physically, we destroyed an e-reader in order to do it. It's a color Kaleido e-reader. And yeah, check it out. It's really interesting.
Okay, so Gallery 3 is, Gallery 1 and 2 was pretty well just used for digital signage.
Yeah.
Gallery 3 was developed exclusively for e-readers and e-notes like in mind, and it uses e-ink's advanced color e-paper, and this is something that's been available for digital signage for like 3 years. If you look at our YouTube channel for ACEP, or advanced color e-paper, we actually went to a few department stores that actually had the first ones that actually had advanced color e-paper as signage. And the one crappy thing about it was the refresh rate. I mean, it took like 60 seconds for one image to transition to another, and all the screen did was like flash, flash, flash. So it's like if you had like epilepsy
Yeah.
or something like that, it would like trigger it. Like that's how bad it was. But I
It
guess
would.
e-ink figured out how to incorporate like a good refresh system into advanced color e-paper, which was Gallery 3. So what are the big things about Gallery 3? Well, it can display 50,000 colors. To give you a sense on Kaleido 3, which is brand new color e-paper technology, about 4,100 colors.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
this is like taking color to like the next level. It also uses a different particles ink system, so it uses cyan, magenta, yellow, and white. So
Ah.
whereas like all 3 generations of Kaleido 3 use like RGB like lighting, like
Yeah, and if
for
you don't know
colors.
what CYM is, it's like your printer. I'm pointing to my printer. When you get those ink cartridges, it's not called red and blue. It's called cyan and magenta because it's a more rich color gamut. It's a lot more sophisticated than just RGB, which is red, green, and blue. So that's why they do that.
Okay, so the only device that they made this for right now is for 8 inches. So chances are we'll probably see like an 8-inch Gallery 3 reader. Ian told me that they like are considering supporting more like screen sizes. But I think the thing about Kaleido 3 is that it was pretty well made exclusively for large screen displays, from 7.8 to 10.3 to 13.3. So, will we see a max Lumi color like down the road? Probably, with like Kaleido 3. Whereas,
Wait, but given that, then when we talked about Hisense earlier, if they have no intentions of using this for smaller screens, we might not see a Kaleido 3 Hisense because Hisense doesn't use big screens.
yeah. So what I note is that
Oh.
Kaleido 3 was primarily made for large screen devices like in mine. But that's not to
Oh,
say
well.
that maybe we'll not see it in smaller
Yeah.
devices. Whereas like 150 ppi on say like a 6.1 inch screen, or a 6.8 inch high reader color,
Oh.
that could be a reality, but we really don't know. But I think
Huh.
the thing about Gallery 3 is that, from what I understand, there's three different like things that companies could pick up in terms of like the color refresh rate. So Gallery 3 baseline, there's 350 milliseconds that it takes minimum for colors to transition, or page turn animations, pictures swiping, or something like that. The next step is 500 megahertz, like 500 megasecond, like a milliseconds, and then
Milliseconds.
750 to 1,000 milliseconds, and that achieves the best color like thing. So I guess from what I understand is that the color won't look as rich if you want the like page turn animations and everything to like happen really fast, like 350 milliseconds. The colors wouldn't be as rich. Whereas like if you want to go with something that's like the best colors achieved at 1500 milliseconds. So that's how long is that? How long is 1500 milliseconds to a second?
Well, that Milla is it's not a thousandth, it's a 10,000th. I don't even know. Yeah, let's see. That's what Google's for. 1500
Yeah,
milliseconds?
that's the best color that they said that it'll support the widest gamut, the most
Oh, okay.
richest
So
colors.
right, so that's right. A millisecond is a thousandth, like a millimeter. Okay, yeah, I get it. So 1.5 seconds then.
So that's what it'll. So 1500 milliseconds is 1.5 seconds.
That's pretty quick given what the technology is. That's fairly quick, especially because the previous one, like you said, was what, like 30 to 60 seconds, and it's spazzing out trying to create the image. So it's like, yeah, that's a long stone's throw away from what it used to be, which is great.
Okay, so Gallery 3 will
Robert just got it. Yeah.
they'll support both Wacom and EMR like screen like technology. So for styluses, it'll also support the comfort gaze technology that Kaleido 3 supported. So better color temperature, better front light display. Now here's the thing. Gallery 3 is not compatible with on-cell touch. It's not compatible with like any of the Carta technologies. So Carta
Oh,
1200, 1250, it's not compatible with all, because it's using like a totally different like waveform controller. And it's not using a color filter array. So it's basically like everything's in the e-paper like itself. So all the colors are sort of built into the e-paper. So it's sort of like one panel that has it all. Whereas with Kaleido 3, it's like a color filter array. So there's no way that you can turn color off.
yeah. Yeah, that's so far, if you guys are unsure, there's basically no way to color e-paper, e-ink, I should say. Currently has no viable product that you can actually turn the color off. The Poke 2 color had a little bit of a software glitch where you could reduce 95% of the color. No e-paper, no e-ink, sorry, can turn color off. Some e-paper technology like Weifeng's DES slurry can turn color off, but currently it's not being applied to anything. So right now, yeah, you just if something's color, you're really gonna get that kind of grayish background. It's just comes with the territory currently.
All right, so suffice to say, Peter, that the vast majority of e-readers and e-notes are running Android, right?
Pretty much. Yep.
And only a few of them have Google Play. Boyu, or the company formerly known as Boyu. I like Prince,
Yeah.
the man formerly known as Prince, where he's like the symbol. Onyx Spokes
Yeah.
and Big Me. There's
Yeah.
Dasung has it as well, but
Yeah.
those are the outliers. And so we've had news that Google has mandated that everybody use their new billing system
Oh,
by
yeah. This is Amazon news, people, by the way.
and but this is also other news as well. So
It is, yeah.
um Google, basically for about the last 10 years, Google has had their own billing system, but it basically left it up to developers whether they want to use it or whether they want to use their own billing system in their own apps, which is basically what everybody did. And then because of the epic lawsuit against Apple, and then Google was a part of that too. Google kind of made a decision to, like, listen, we've had a laissez-faire policy for like too long. I think it's time that we start implementing our own billing system. So they're kind of forcing everybody now to use their own billing system. And if you aren't using their new billing system, they're going to delist your app by June. So if you have like an app with like 100 million downloads or 50 million downloads and everybody uses your app, and they don't like switch to Google Play's new billing system, they're going to be delisted from Google. So that sucks. So basically, this has had a reverberating effect on e-reading apps. Barnes and Noble disabled all in-app purchases on their Nook app for Android. So they basically have turned their Android app into like a pure consumer app. In order to buy books and or audiobooks from Barnes and Noble, you got to go to their website in your internet browser on your mobile phone or tablet, or on your computer, and then buy purchases, and then everything will sync to like your app. Amazon owned Audible also disabled in-app purchases. You can't buy audiobooks within the Android app anymore. And most recently, Amazon disabled all in-app like transactions, so you can't buy ebooks within the Amazon app for Google Play. Now, those are three of the largest companies involved in audiobooks, ebooks, and other forms of like digital content. Now, I
Yeah.
reached out to Kobo to see if they'll follow suit, and they said no. They said we're willing to take a loss. So basically, Google's charging 30% for each in-app transaction. And that's why everybody is like, obviously there's no profit margins to be made if you have to pay Google 30% of each ebook sold, each audiobook sold, each magazine sold. I mean, that's going to kill the profit margin. And Kobo was like, we're willing to eat the loss on Android because, like, our Android users are like just a small percentage of like our overall users. More people use like iOS, like for Kobo, which also you can buy books through iOS as well. But a lot of Kobo's like users are e-readers. They have e-readers, like, so that's their lion's share. So they're like, while everybody else is like disabling in-app transactions, we're gonna keep it around for the foreseeable future. What exactly does that mean? We don't know. But we've so there's a few things that you could do as a workaround. First of all, install the Amazon App Store and download the Kindle app from the Amazon App Store. The reason
Mm,
the reason being is because Amazon, for their own app store, handles all the billing and they handle the
yeah.
content delivery. So there's nothing to, even though your smartphone or your tablet or your e-ink e-reader has Google Play on it, all you have to do is just kill the app, like the Kindle app that you have, install the Amazon version, and you'll still have access to all of your ebooks that you've purchased like in the past, because like Amazon handles all the content delivery.
Yeah.
So you're not losing anything. You're just going through a new billing system, which is like Amazon. So
Wasn't that scary though, man? For like 24 hours, remember? We heard that news and like you did a video on it, and then we're like, "Oh my God, that's it." Like all these guys like Moby Scribe, like all Fujitsu, like all these guys that had, the ability to like sideload Kindle and then access Amazon through the Kindle, we're like, "Oh no, we can't do it anymore." everyone across the globe with like Android e-readers can't download Kindle. But then like we soon found the workaround that if you get the Amazon app and then get Kindle and then get Audible, it's like, oh, phew, now we can get back to normal. That was kind of crazy though.
Yeah, so
That's
there's
funny.
that workaround for Android like
Yeah.
enabled products. Also, you can get a Kindle e-reader. I mean, as your next
That's what
e-reader.
everyone said.
Because
Yeah.
it's like,
Everyone said just get Kindle.
everyone, Amazon handles everything. It's like, even like Nook, you could still get a Nook e-reader and like buy everything through the Nook e-reader. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the big advantage with like handheld e-readers now, as opposed to like having a smartphone and reading the Kindle app on your smartphone, which isn't going to be a reality anymore. Not a, I would say the people who are in this chat and watching this show or listening
Yeah.
to this show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc., where this will
Yeah.
eventually go. But yeah, I mean, the vast majority of users will say, "Why can't I buy ebooks in the Kindle app anymore?"
Yeah.
And then
Right.
they'll, chances are they won't know enough to install Amazon App Store or to buy a Kindle e-reader. They will be like, I'm not going to buy a device just to read books. I'll
Right.
just like, read everything in my web browser instead now, or something like that. So
Yeah, you
I'm
will get a lot of abandonment over that because there was like images where it said on the app, it says, why can't I read this book or why can't I use this or, absorb this content? And it was because of this most recent news is like they're kind of cutting it because of the whole Google thing. So yeah,
yeah, I mean, I just feel bad for the average user that like,
it's true.
you know,
And you know what? For the first 24 hours, we were the average user. We were just like, yeah, there's no way out of this. For like 2 days, we were like, that's it. It's that. What can we do? Oh no, let me download. Like, no, it is what it is. And then we found that workaround, which isn't even for sure going to be around forever. That could change as well. That works now. As of the date of that tech upload that our staff found, like that works now, but it might not be a permanent fix. You know what I mean? We don't know.
I mean, I can't even install the Amazon App Store in Canada.
That's oh yeah, no, that's right. It's country specific too. So that's also a thing, is that it's not guaranteed. Like if you have a Hisense phone, an A7CC, and you were using the Amazon app or the Kindle app, and then you're like, okay, maybe I live in New Zealand, maybe I can't download it from this, that, or the other, or whatever the case may be. There's a ton of variables that may prevent you from even fixing the issue.
Yeah, so I mean, specific
Tough.
countries like it sucks because you can't even download the Amazon App Store. So it's
Yeah.
like, what's everyone in Canada going to do? I mean, we have like 56 million people that live in Canada. I mean, it's no
40.
yeah, I mean, it's no small
Yeah.
population of like users to be cut off. So what's everyone going to do? Like switch the Kobo, Or is Kobo going to get all of Amazon's users for Android that want to buy new books? I mean,
Good. Yeah.
it could happen. I mean, just luckily Kobo's not really doing they're not doing a PR campaign about it. We're the only game left in town. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's what I would be doing. I'd be doing YouTube videos. I'd be doing TikTok, like sponsored stuff. I'd be like doing like YouTube, like advertising about like, everyone else is abandoning Android, but we're not. It's like,
Yeah.
this is such a money opportunity for Kobo that like they're not actually doing. And this kind of leads me to like, not a conspiracy theory, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but what I'm a child of history, so I like history. I like watching a lot of history videos, like on YouTube, like the evolution of the Roman like phalanx like maneuver. How did they get to like the tortoise like shield with like spears or short swords that they did through? I like looking at like history. Like I just kind of found out that before the Arctic got frozen, like 50 million years ago, it was actually like a tropical rainforest. And they only found that out by like digging a hole super, super deep and like finding all these trees like beneath the ice. And it's like, that's kind of cool. But so to tie this all into like Amazon, Apple, Google. So around 2011, Apple was in the same policy as Google was like during the last like 10 years, where Apple was like, laissez-faire policy. Like, our app store is really new. We want to populate it with apps. We use your own billing system and whatnot. And then around 2011, they were like, yo, we're going to force everyone to use our own, like, billing platform. So all in-app transactions will be done through Apple, and we're going to take a 30% cut. And, just like Android, Amazon exited, Kobo exited, Barnes & Noble exited. Everybody that sold ebooks through the platform basically fled it, and they turned their apps into just reading app only. Same thing. You go use Safari, you visit like Amazon.com, you buy books, it syncs with your Kindle app for iOS, you read. It's that's what people did. And what ended up happening was that Apple soon after that launched iBooks, or Apple Books now. They're the only ones pretty well on iOS that sell books and audiobooks through their app. Do you really think that Apple takes the 30% cut out of like their own transactions? You know what I mean? Like, I bet my bottom dollar that they do not take a 30% cut of their own transactions, which means they pay 0%. Like, they sell books and audiobooks through their Apple Books app, and they pay 0% commission. Everyone else pays 30%. Google's in the same boat now. They have their Google like ebooks platform where they sell audiobooks and books. Everyone's fleeing like Google's 30% mandated tax. Do you think Google charges themselves 30% on all like ebooks and audiobooks? Bet my bottom dollar they do not. So basically, the platform is basically kicking everybody off because they're making it financially unviable to actually sell content and pay a 30% royalty. And then they're the only game left in town that will sell audiobooks and ebooks. So like, Apple Books was never the number one ebook and audiobook retailer anywhere, like in any country in the world, but they soon came to be. Google generally number 8 or 9 out of the top 10 in terms of like ebook like sales in the US. And now after this, I bet they're going to be like top 3 because they make it too easy to buy and read directly within the app. Just like iBooks being able to buy and read like content directly through the app. So that's sort of my rant, but I there's a method to like, implementing 30%. You kick off all your competitors and then you dominate the platform.
Monetarily, it does make sense.
That's what
it really does.
If I was,
I mean, and that's not like a wild conspiracy theorist, like, there's people on the moon that throw the stars out into the galaxy that we look at. And like, no, this is a valid thought.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah. All of human history is gone because of a bunch of people on TikTok in the past, 16 months. Yeah, no, for sure. It is possible. Yeah. And it is causing a little bit of a stir for the people that have like Android devices that want to consume Kindle, that have like all their stuff tied up in Kindle, that, it's becoming harder and harder to deal, and like there's fewer players, and it's tough. It's unfortunate what's been going on.
Yeah. And I mean,
but we're trying our best to find little, workarounds for you guys, solutions, alternatives, things like that. I mean, that's our industry.
I mean,
right?
What other operating systems are there? The mobile operating systems, you have iOS and Android for the most part.
Yeah, and then you have other things that are just based on those. You're like, oh, my Supernote is Chauvet. It's like, that's Android. My Huawei is Harmony. It's just Android.
Yeah,
it's just there's only 2.
Yeah.
And anything else you say, like, oh, I use a Linux 3.1 5T H class, and it's like, dude, you don't count.
Yeah, exactly. Linux users don't count.
Technically, it's more stable and more function. Like, no, you quiet. There's Apple and there's Android. Those are the only ones. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh,
we're gonna get,
it's true.
We're gonna make from all the we're making a lot of thumbs down from like the Linux crowd on this video, but luckily you can't see the number of downvotes anymore. So downvote to like your heart's content. No one's gonna see them. Oh, so you might as well give
all the dislikes.
You might as well give us an upvote instead. Give us an upvote. Um,
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna put a poll right now on the chat and see what people think. iOS, Android, or Linux. Let's see where we're going here. Uh,
well, I mean, to be fair, the Kindle and Kobo e-readers use Linux. But
yeah,
but
I know,
people
I know.
aren't running like Linux on their phones or tablets is like really what we're getting at. Um,
Right.
you know, there's only a few phones that I've ever seen like ever reviewed that actually have like Linux installed on them. And
Yeah.
no one's like reading ebooks like on them. They're just like whatever. In any case, Amazon will support EPUB by 2022, but they actually support EPUB now, but there's like a lot of problems with it. So, basically send a Kindle is like a popular way that people send books, documents, PDF files to your Kindle. It's like there's programs for like Mac and for Android. There's like Chrome extensions. There's like software that you could install that basically will allow you to log into your like Amazon account and then send stuff like to your Kindle. So say you download a bunch of like books from Project Gutenberg in EPUB, or you download some pirate books. I mean, like people do that. And you could only get it in EPUB, and so you in the past you've had to like open up Calibre or learn how to use Calibre, which is like an ebook conversion tool. It's pretty well like the best one out there. And you can convert a book from like EPUB to like an Amazon supported format and then sideload that onto your Kindle, or you send a Kindle and send that, Amazon file to
Yeah.
that. So what Send a Kindle is doing with EPUBs is that it is converting the EPUB to Kindle Format 8 or AZW3, and they're not going to support like EPUB natively on the Kindle e-readers. They're basically when you send a Kindle and send an EPUB, it will convert that EPUB behind the scenes to
Ooh.
Amazon's new format. But they also will be discontinuing the format of Mobi and AZW. So EPUB goes in, two old formats go out. It's just basically like Mobi and AZW do not support like a lot of like rich formatting and stuff like that. So that's why like when you sideload in Mobi books or PRC books or AZW books that you download online, there's always like weird formatting errors and stuff like that, because like
Yeah,
it
always.
doesn't really support the newest Amazon fonts and things like that. So that's pretty well the issue. And what I've heard right now from like a lot of users is that Send a Kindle is supporting EPUB now, but there's all these like formatting errors right now, which I think Amazon is fixing. It has to do with like there's like these like ISO type things when it comes to like books. I'm not too familiar on it because like I'm not in the book publishing world. Um,
But dumb it down for the crowd and ourselves, if you could. There's a standard that currently is not being upheld. There's some sort of overall formatting standard not being implemented that's kind of making everything weird.
yeah, it's basically like ebooks are encoded like differently. So you may all EPUB books are not the same. Some are like encoded using like different formats. And one of the formats just the name escapes me right now because I haven't written about it yet because it's not really it's too techy. But yeah, one of the formats that publishers use to actually make the EPUB, there's some errors in that are creating format errors. But there's really,
Oh,
for the average user right now, there's really no way to know how your book's been encoded. And it's just like the luck of the draw. From what I've heard, in late 2022, Amazon will officially support it, although it is working now. But it's hit or miss whether your EPUB, when you're reading it, will be just one giant paragraph under like another with no formatting,
Yeah.
or and it's just like one giant run-on sentence. So
Yeah.
that's the thing with that. So we actually got a lot of press when we broke this story. Like The Verge, Ian Gadget, the New York Times, like like everybody like linked to like our site for that. I think we got like over like 500 publications that like linked to that story, which was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that was a good find. Very very well sleuthed there, you and your team. Good work.
Uh, yeah. So here's like a not 100% sure type of thing, but we kind of speculated maybe about March, when we did a post called "What is Amazon's plans for the Kindle in 2022?" And one of the
Yeah.
things that I speculated was that likely the Kindle Oasis will be discontinued because it's basically the same screen size as the new generation Paperwhites, 6.8
Yeah.
inches. The only thing that the Oasis has is like page turn keys, and it has, it's old, right? So I was like, Amazon should make an e-note, and it would make sense. Since then, a number of like Amazon people actually have talked to me and said like, listen, there's something to your story here, but they never told me what it was in my story. And then I was like, well, the only thing I really kind of speculated was like Oasis discontinued and Amazon making an e-note. And then the more I thought about it, was like, Kobo made an e-note in 2021, and they're the
Yeah.
global number 2 ebook retailer in the world. How long will Amazon take? I mean, let's face it, like e-notes like have been around since like the Sony digital paper. How long ago,
Yeah.
Peter, was that? Like 6 years?
2013.
So
2013. No, way
how
more.
many years ago?
Well, that's 7 to 20 and then 2, so 9.
Okay, so e-notes have been around for like 9 years. And since then, Remarkables come to the table, Onyx Books have come to the table, like Big Me, Fujitsu, like countless
I
players.
Everyone, iReader, Hanvon, iFlyTech, Freenot, King, just so many players, tons.
Yeah. There's more e-notes than there are e-readers released on like a yearly
Yes,
basis.
correct. Yeah, that's Big Me doesn't even have an e-reader. They have 14 e-notes and not one e-reader.
The Pocket Note,
Jeez, that's an e-note.
is it?
Same with the Goyu T1. They're both 7-inch e-notes. Big Me has no e-readers and they're doing just fine. Even companies that have never done e-notes like iReader have 3 e-notes now, and they white label their stuff out to other people. Hanvon has the Smart Office, the new N1 or whatever the heck it's called. Tons of players are getting into e-notes. It's insane. Dasung took the old Sony shells and they have e-notes. Fujitsu's got 2 gens of e-notes. It's insane, man. It's you're right. It's faster than e-readers. Everyone has e-notes now.
Yeah, so Amazon recently conducted an internal survey amongst hardcore Kindle users. They actually came to Seattle to do it. And one of the things that they talked about was names for like a prospective Kindle with note taking functionality. The two that they pitched were the Kindle Passage and the Kindle Scribe. So, those were I guess Amazon is sort of like hemming and hawing between the two names. A passage would make sense, highlighting a passage of text. Kindle Scribe, I think, more sums up on like what it's done. Like a scribe, everybody knows that like a scribe like is someone that like takes notes, who puts like a raven feather to like a piece of like old like parchment. You know what I mean? There's modern day scribes, like people that are like typing on a typewriter and doing like court cases and stuff like that. So I have a feeling that to release a compelling product, it probably will be around 10.3 inches, because everybody else in like the industry does 10.3 inches. Fujitsu Quadrano A5, 10.3. Sony digital paper like A5. Remarkable 2, Supernote A5X, Kobo Ellipsa, Onyx Book Note Air 2, Note 5, Carve Color, Big Me B1 Max Plus Color, Bokeh Notia. They're all 10.3 inches. There's other devices that are smaller than that. But if you intend on taking advantage of Amazon's own ecosystem, which sell digital textbooks, they probably will not look good on a 7.8 or a 6-inch note taker. It will look damn good on a 10.3 though, and Amazon will probably sell more textbooks because students will buy this. People who are like business professionals will be like, yo, I want something with good templates. Amazon can provide that. I mean,
Yeah.
so Amazon will probably make money in two ways: by consumers wanting a larger screen device, like to fit more text on the screen. Undoubtedly, you'll support the Kindle bookstore, Kindle Unlimited, Audible audiobooks, Amazon Kids Plus, and don't forget, Amazon recently incorporated all of Comixology's comics into their own Kindle bookstore, and Comixology comics will look good on a 10.3-inch screen. So there's all this digital content that is almost tailored to large screen displays, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not even
true.
counting magazines, newspapers,
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Countless.
everything, even just ebooks will look good and fit more text. So it's for me, I'm getting older, I need to wear glasses, and on a large screen 10.3-inch e-reader, just turn the fonts up a little bit more and I could just read it just fine.
Boom.
So
Yep. And a lot of the people that already have Amazon, they have all their stuff in Amazon, they have all their content. They're just going to be able to just transition over, buy new hardware, spend more money, and get all their stuff synced to it. All these new bells and whistles and subscription services and other ways for them to make money. It's going to be a great move. And as we've seen literally with every single thing Amazon has ever done in terms of e-readers, they've never paved the way. They weren't even the first to make an e-reader. They weren't the first with audio. They weren't the first with glow light. They kind of sit back and they're like, oh, yeah, that's working. A generation later, they're like, let's do it. And they do it better. They're like, oh, wow, Barnes & Noble's doing glow lighting. Okay, it works. Okay, let's do it. So they're kind of just, they don't pave the way, Amazon. They do stuff and they do stuff well, but based off of what they kind of visualize and scout out in the industry, and they pick and choose what kind of things they should do. But man, people have been harking over a large screen Kindle since the DX was released, discontinued, released, discontinued, and finally released again for the final time. There's such a dedicated following to the DX. People are buying replacement batteries and circuit boards on eBay just to keep their DX alive because it's the largest Kindle you could possibly buy ever. So a large screen e-paper, not Fire Tablet Kindle, would be amazing.
yeah, I mean, Amazon does have some infrastructure in place to take advantage of a stylus interacting with
Oh yeah.
stuff as opposed to your finger.
Yeah.
Highlights. Long pressing on a word and looking it up in Wikipedia or
Yeah.
the dictionary. Sharing a passage via social media. Looking at public highlights. What are other people highlighting in the book that I'm reading? X-ray, clicking on a person's name and then seeing how many times they're referenced in the book. All of these were sort of made with light presses, long pressing, selecting a body of text, finger interactions in mind. A stylus is a great replacement for finger interactions.
Yeah.
And so with Amazon's existing infrastructure for the Kindle, they could really just change. They could still have finger interactions, but they could also have stylus interactions as well to make all the to make taking notes on a specific body of text. Because right now, in order to take a note, you have to highlight something. A keyboard pops
Yeah.
up. If you have an older
It's a
Kindle,
lot.
the refresh rate isn't great. Sometimes you click A and you hold down A and it's why isn't A showing up? And then five A's show at once, So I mean, there's things that the Kindle could do that having a stylus would be a no-brainer. So
They have to do Wacom. That's just something they're going to have to do because one of the biggest downfalls with the new line of the Kobos with the Ellipsa and the Sage was that you needed this dedicated pen with a quadruple A battery and dedicated tips, and it just made the whole thing just a little bit of a pain to use. And you know, we overanalyze things here because we kind of have to nitpick at things, and that's some of the big drawbacks of things like the TCL with the terrible pen and the Huawei with that just pen that needs to charge and connect and Bluetooth, and you know, the Goyu, which is great, but it needs that battery powered pen. Like all these things, it really gets held back, and it's a group consensus that Wacom should be the way to go. It's cheaper, it's better, it's higher quality, it's easier to replace. There might be some things in the back end that require more licensing by these companies to do, but Wacom enabled pens or the standard EMR is way better than active capacitive in every conceivable metric. It is better. Longevity, ease of use, cost of operation, it's just better. So I think if Amazon had deep pockets and they're doing their thing, which is evident of them just sitting back and watching, they should take note of what, haha, pun intended, of what Kobo did and move on to something a little bit more, you know, customizable and cross-compatible with Mitsubishi pens and Lamy pens and Stadler pens and Pilot pens. Just open up their world. Having dedicated capacitive with a battery in the back that you got to go to London Drugs. You're like, they don't have any quadruple A's. They have triple A's. It won't fit. Like, that's just not a good way to inspire confidence in your products by having this like proprietary stuff.
okay, I hear you,
Yeah,
but knowing Amazon, they're not gonna do a license with
I
Wacom.
know. I
They're
know.
gonna
They're
do.
not.
They're
They're
gonna.
Amazon
You
pens.
know,
Damn it.
they might do like, and I think this is what I wish Kobo did is have like their stock pen that they give away with the Lipsa and the case and stuff,
Yeah.
and offer more premium digital stationery. And I think like
Yeah.
Amazon
That's
probably
right.
won't do premium digital stationery. Other than an optional case, they're not going to do what Remarkable did and like offer like 5 cases, or do what Remarkable did and like here's 2 different styluses that you can choose, a premium one that supports tilt control or like a basic one, you know.
Yeah.
I think Amazon will probably not pay a Wacom license because they're cheap as hell. They'll probably just like do their own proprietary pen, so you have to buy a Kindle pen or a
It's gonna
Scribe.
be the Kindle pencil. It's gonna be $120.
Yeah,
Watch.
you know, chances are they'll have their own proprietary pen, and
They will.
they'll probably make a few different cases for it. But the thing with cases is that everyone will come out of the woodwork and have, you know, non-official cases. I mean, like you just like go on Amazon and look for paperweight, you know,
Your
like
computer will crash
yeah,
if you type in
paperweight
Kindle
11
case on
generation
Amazon.
case. It's like most of them aren't made by Amazon. They're just like made by like
Whatever. Like what?
hundreds
Yeah.
of companies.
It's so many third parties make cases for Kindles. It's insanity how
Yeah.
many how many choices there are.
And I mean, if Amazon were to support Wacom, how many people are going to be like, I'm trying to get a Stadler pen and it's not working on my Kindle? It's like
Right?
the Kindle
Yeah.
agents won't be trained on that. They'll be trained with like the official Kindle pen, you know. And
That's
so
true. You know, yeah, that's a different way of looking at it for sure. Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
it's easier.
Huh.
Like, you know, I mean, Amazon's retail footprint is rather small right now. So you know, they do sell like Kindles and stuff at Whole Foods, but you know, they're not gonna like market a digital note-taking device at Whole Foods. You know what I mean? And
That'd be pretty funny.
yeah, exactly. It's like people. I don't know. I have a more of a feeling that like Amazon will do an Apple. It's like control end to end. Like this is the stylus that we made. This is the case that we made. Nothing else will work. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
if you
true.
want an
It's true.
iPad and to draw, you're going to have to get the Apple Pencil 2 or Apple Pencil 1 if you have an older device.
I know.
You could use,
I mean, look how long it took them to even do EPUB. Forever. They were finally like, ah, dang it, fine, we'll do it. After like decades, it's like, okay, So yeah, there's no way they're gonna make Wacom. They're gonna start with their own Amazon Scribble or whatever they'll call it. And it'll be like a separate purchasable good, and it's gonna be $120, and the tips are gonna be those weird conical, gigantic plastic things you take off, and they'll be $49 for replacements.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, that does sound like more in line with what they're gonna do.
all right. I think we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I've been doing polls. I've been monitoring chat, and yeah, 57% of people said they think Amazon making an e-note is a good idea, and 5% of people said they hate it. So looks like a win.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, it's like some people buy e-notes and never use the note-taking thing. They just like
It's true.
use
They
a
want the
large
screen.
they want the large screen. For me, I'm not a huge note taker. The only time I really use an e-note is to like literally like sign paperwork. Like paperwork like
But
for
isn't that handy? You
yeah.
access your
So
email,
to pull
sign this, boom, send
exactly.
back. You don't have to print it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like traditionally I'll if I have to sign multiple things in a PDF document, you have to sign your initials here, 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 do a signature. I like drawing a signature with a stylus rather than like Adobe Acrobat and like spelling out my name and they just like generate
Yeah.
like your
That's
signature.
not even legally your signature because I know you and your signature looks nothing like your name. Doesn't even have your name in it.
Yeah.
You're just like "Da-da-da-da-da." So yeah.
It looks like a
What about your
doctor's signature.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like you could get the M and like the trailing I and everything
the
else
rest doesn't matter.
yeah, the rest
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
right.
You just need the first letter and the last letter. Before we wrap things up, tell the people your thoughts on the Huawei MatePad.
It's a really nice the reader itself has to be separated from the pen because the pen's a whole nother can of worms. I've talked about it a lot, but I'll do it again summarized. The device itself is great. I know a lot of people have their concerns over monitoring and everything, but if you have location services on your phone and you have Google, you're being monitored. So if you don't want to be monitored, don't be part of normal society with technology because you're always going to be monitored. Anyways, Huawei, it was beautifully built. Best looking 10.3-inch on the market, hands down. Materials are top notch. The leather's great. As you hold it, everywhere you touch on it, it's like, wow, this is so natural. It's like I'm holding a ledger of some sort. The pen itself is awesome, but then everything surrounding the pen is so terrible. You have to connect it. You have to snap it to the side. Oh, click connect, click find, click that. And you have to have Bluetooth running 24/7 on your device to even use it. The pen itself is expensive. It's over $100. The tips aren't forever. You have to replace them. There's no tilt function on the pen where the actual tips move. It doesn't actually tilt. It just feels like you're tapping on a window with a like a popsicle stick. It's not very good. The device itself is great. The pen, they missed the mark. Completely missed the mark. It's such a hassle to use, and it's just, it's like what people say, like, all these. Wacom is best. It's the best. It's not me saying it. It's the truth. If I lose my my Huawei M pen, you're screwed. You got to go on Amazon and buy $120 pen. Get that shipped to you to use it on that device. Oh, it's out of batteries. You got to charge it. Wacom, dime a dozen tips, high quality, different styles, 20 different pens you can choose from. It's just such a better idea. And if the Huawei had Wacom, holy moly, that would be a force. The thing is brimming with specs. It has every bell and whistle. It's as distraction free as you'd want to make it, or it's as loaded as you want to make it. It's so good. It's such a good device. That pen just it sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess like the one thing going against the MatePad is retail visibility.
That
It's
too.
not officially for sale in Canada or the US. It's only officially sold in some countries in Europe and China. Although it has
Yes.
English and it has support for like
Yep.
different languages. So I mean, it is really relevant if you can get your hands on it. I mean, we sell it in our Good Reader store, but I mean, it's more expensive to buy it through us for this product than it is to like buy it directly from China. If you could actually even do that, which
That's
they make it
right.
super hard. And it's only in a few countries like in Europe, so it's really hard to even get your hands on one of these. And I think that's the biggest con against it is that if you can't, for the average user, can you buy it off Amazon? Can you buy it off Newegg? Can you buy it from Goody Reader store? If you can't, any of those stores, it might as well not exist, because
Pretty
a
much.
lot of people aren't going to go out of their way to find listings on AliExpress or JD or what are the other stores in China?
DHgate, Woot, a VPN using Taobao, and then putting in like a Chinese phone number to like no one knows how to do that. And even if you do, most of the time you need those local. You can't just use your like American Express from if you live in Tennessee, you have to have like a mainland Chinese bank account to shop on Taobao. You know what I mean? You can't just buy stuff you see. So that's why, yeah, it's really hard to attain that thing. And another thing is that if you don't buy it through us, you don't get any support. So if you find an eBay listing of it, well, great. But if you need a warranty, if you need communication with the heads of the company, you're only going to get that through us. And that's not a sales pitch. That's true. If you buy it through us and there's something wrong within a year, we can warranty it for you, because you can send it back to us. We can send it into them. But if you buy it off some guy on like some listing on Woot, that's it. It's a one and done purchase.
So I have a little bit of remarkable news. They sent me a
Yep.
press release that said, since the Remarkable 1 and 2 has been released from 2017 to present date, they have sold over 1 million units and have generated over $1 billion in sales. Dude, they've sold over 1 million
That's
units and made over $1 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's and I'm with the people on this. That's due to their advertising campaign. They went ape with their advertising campaign. They framed the narrative perfect. And I'm not against Remarkable. I think Remarkable's good. Are there other things better? Yes, there is. But Remarkable had probably the most polished advertising campaign, the easiest checkout process, the most kind of user interaction compatibility, this folio, that folio, this pen, that pen. It was a very awesome, fun thing to do. Buy a Remarkable. It was great. It was really good. And it was hands down probably the best marketed item in the e-paper scope. I mean, like you said, look at Barnes and Noble hasn't even done anything on their YouTube in 7 years. You can't even
They
buy
told
one.
me that they recently regained control of their YouTube channel like last week.
Yeah,
So they
but you know
for
what I mean? The
basically the
top
last 10
three in the
years they
world.
haven't even had access to like their own YouTube channel.
Oh, we found the password on a little sticky note. It's 09 at whatever.com.
Like
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
password
Like
one
even
two
the
three four five 10.
yeah, oh, there was an exclamation mark. Yeah, like dude, even the top 3 has trouble with marketing and like in company direction and revolving door of employees. Remarkable knew what they were doing. They had the best looking campaign, the best looking material so that it made you want to buy it. And it's true and it will always be true. And they'll go down as one of the best marketed e-paper products of all time. And everybody knows they're Remarkable. You say King Jim Freno to anyone outside our office and they're like, what the hell is that? A gym? You mean like a gym? You say Remarkable, everyone knows it. Everybody.
Yep. I
Everyone
mean,
in our scope, everyone in any other electronic
it's
scope.
like they advertise on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok,
Everywhere.
Twitter. It's like I
Everywhere.
see Remarkable ads everywhere. It's like
And all their stuff is like 8K footage, like 7-minute long things with like people by lakes drawing on it, and like they have like camera jib arms on like chase cars going by, and it's like, dude, you can't just throw that together. That's well done material.
yeah,
High
it's like
quality.
you can buy Remarkable in over 40 different countries worldwide.
Yeah.
They have like 300 employees now working with them. I mean, they have had like numerous investments of like hundreds of millions of dollars, every couple years that they raise money, and it's pretty well for marketing. That's pretty well what they spend their money on. But I mean, it's really nice to see that a company that's only been around since 2017 that's made over $1 billion on e-ink like technology, and they've only had two products, like the Remarkable 1 and the Remarkable 2, and it's like that just goes to show that their digital stationery is very important, and that's something that
It
they've
is.
realized very early on. Multiple pens, like 5 different cases, all the way from like a basic like case all the way to like a premium $120 pure leather like case. It's like there's a case for everybody.
And they found that perfect balance between having choices and options for their customers, but not confusing them too much. You go on their site, there's two pens, there's three cases, there's two categories of cases. Do you need an extra cable or some marker tips? No, okay, that's fine. Not shoving it down your throat. And then you just purchase it, it lands. That's it. It's such a good process to buy a Remarkable. Other companies are so difficult. Like there's a million Kindle cases and a million Kobo cases, and like all the Kindles get lost. There's the Paperwhite 5th gen, 6th gen, 7th gen, 8th gen, 9th gen, and you're just like, what am I actually buying right now?
Yeah.
Whereas Remarkable is just like, here's the Remarkable. The 1st gen is discontinued. It's not on our site anymore. Here's that. Like, that's it. It's just so easy, and it's such a great process. And that's what brought them success, even having one of the most underperforming products since e-notes were invented. It's true. If you look at them pitted up against any other manufacturer, I'm not choosing favorites. Remarkable will come in last in specs, usability, functionality, build quality, everything. It's outgunned, it's outmanned in every metric, but it does the best because it was the easiest process to get it in your hands. Didn't make it difficult. Oh, we're only selling through one guy in Germany. It's like, well, I'm never going to be able to buy that. So it might as well not exist. Whereas Remarkable, anyone can get it. And that's what helps.
Yeah, and I mean, there are better products, but they're harder to get. Like the
That's
Fujitsu
right.
Quaderno, so good, but it's only available in Japan. The only way that you really can get it is through Good e-reader. And I mean,
That's
even
it.
even us,
One guy in the
even us,
world.
we don't make $1 billion in sales. You know what I mean? We do
Yeah.
well, but it's like we're not making $1 billion like in sales. Not, and Remarkable basically, it's available in more markets than almost any other e-note that's currently available. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the Fujitsu, better than Remarkable, only available in Japan. They don't, they distribute through us, but I mean, it's not like it's everywhere.
It isn't everywhere. It isn't anywhere.
Super note, better drawing experience, better like advanced features, but they only officially sell it in Japan and China. So it's
Yep.
like, it's Remarkable is almost like the de facto device just because it's the
Mm.
easiest to buy and it's available in the most countries for an e-note. Other than if you want to buy a Kobo Ellipsa, that's available in most markets. But I mean, even Kobo doesn't really hardcore advertise like the Ellipsa the way that Remarkable advertises the Remarkable. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Remarkable. I think that it does it's a well-rounded device. The only thing that it could use is a bookstore because it does have a book reader, but it forces users to sideload in their own books. And
Yeah.
they always said that they are exploring the idea of like a bookstore or their own bookstore like on there, so you could like at least download books for free or something like that.
Right.
That's the only thing I think that's really missing for it to be like an
And from
all-in-one design.
a hardware perspective, I mean, we can say specs in this all day long. No, you don't really need speakers. You don't need an SD card, but you need a front light. You need a glow light. That's not an opinion. That's a prescription. Every device in e-paper needs a front light. You can't exist anymore without a front light. That's why 90+% of every manufacturer, every device on the market has a front light in some capacity because that's a make or break. We're in the news world, we're in the customer service world, and we're in the community world with all of our shows and our videos and everything. Front light is probably the most sought after feature when it comes to make or breaking people's decision. It's true. And if you can't use a device where you're always hunting for light and it's at night, you're like, oh geez, I got to point my phone at it. That's not good. But a simple boop boop, oh, it has a light, done. It's so should be on the Remarkable, but isn't. I'm surprised they did as good as they did without one. Seriously, weird, really weird.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about before we
Yeah.
wrap the show up is mainly just like a discussion topic between you and me, chat, and whoever else like wants to chime in. Do you use a screen protector on your e-reader or e-note?
Ah.
Some companies have a screen protector installed during like the factory process. Like Onyx Book's done that with a few products, but for the most part, screen protectors have always been sort of like an optional accessory. I mean, say Pocketbook, for example, they don't even sell screen protectors for any of like their products. Like
Yeah, they
Supernote, they
don't.
don't sell official screen protectors for their products. Fujitsu doesn't sell official screen protectors for their products. Sony doesn't. I mean, even Kindle doesn't have official Kindle screen protectors. The only way that you could really get them is if you get them from like third parties. So screen protectors like like aren't really made by the manufacturer. They're often optional accessories, but the reason why I ask is twofold. Do people think that screen protectors like protect and help the screen, or are they thinking about like more matte screen protectors that are better on e-readers that have a glass display? Because a matte screen protector helps diffuse light, whereas like a glass screen, just like you say you have your iPhone outdoors, or like a lot of times, like lately, even my Fitbit, I'm looking at my Fitbit outdoors and I can't even read what's on the screen because like there's light
Yeah,
reflecting off of it. Whereas if I had a
yeah.
matte screen protector, it helps diffuse like the light. I'd be able to see what's on the screen, but they don't make small matte screen protectors for the Apple Watch that I have here or my
Huh.
Fitbit watch. So
Yeah.
like I know a lot of people who are like, yo, I need a matte screen protector for like my, a device that I'm always using outdoors. Because, like, let's face it, sunken screen and bezel designs aren't really being made anymore. It's all
Yeah,
glass
that's
based
true.
displays. So are people using screen protectors on glass based displays? Or are they using matte screen protectors on glass based like displays? Or do people even care about screen protectors? It's
Well, the poll right now is 77% saying no, they don't use a screen protector on their e-reader. And if you look at our teardown video, I go back to that because it's invaluable information. It's really useful, seriously. Um, every layer almost has its own little baked on from factory thing you can't slash shouldn't remove. So even if you have a sunken screen and bezel, that's not the e-paper panel. There's no way. The e-paper panel itself is on the very bottom with a gel layer stacked on top of it. Then there's another layer for the glow light. Then there's another layer for protection. And even if it's a sunken screen and bezel, you're not touching the screen ever. So screen protectors, I think, Mike, it would be what you said. It would be more in tune with people wanting a glare-free experience rather than protecting the screen. Because unless you're grabbing a pen and stabbing the screen on a plastic-based screen, making little dents, you're not going to make dents in glass. And I think it's more to get away from the glossiness, I would say. Yeah, because like on my phone, I have a reflective screen protector, a glass one, and man, I can't see this outside. But the Hisense that has a factory matte screen protector, you can see everywhere. So, yeah, I would say it's more in line with like, screen style rather than a protection kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, it's just like I probably am in a discussion of, or like the thought of matte screen protectors being superior to like non like to just a regular screen protector, but at the same time it's like you look at so many devices that have like so many weird screen sizes, like
It's true.
5.8, 5.4, 6 inch, 6
6.7.
6.7, 6.8, 7 inches, 7 point like 8, like 8 inches, 8.9. Like it's
Yeah.
just like there's so many different screen sizes by so many different manufacturers that are making e-ink devices, and it almost makes that like buying a matte screen protector, it's just impossible because like vendors don't make them like for their own
Yeah.
products, because it's like
Right.
Kobo sells like what, like 6 or 7 devices. They don't sell screen protectors for any of them. Amazon
Yeah.
doesn't sell screen protectors, matte or otherwise. So it's like, you have to find a third party that makes a matte screen protector for your specific model, and like, do you trust them?
And Kevin was even saying, like, I don't get what he says. I don't get why some Chinese companies produce gloss screen protectors for Kindles and Kobos. It's so true. You can go on like eBay. It's like pack of three for 197, and they're just like glossy thing. Like you're taking a step back, putting a gloss screen protector on an e-reader. There's no point in doing that.
Yeah,
Just leave it the way it is. Most people right now, it's at almost 70% saying they don't use screen protectors. So for the most part, yeah, people don't. It's more of just a extra sales channel for most companies, you know.
but they're not even taking advantage of it. Is
Their
my
own, no, you're right. Their own, the first party companies themselves don't take advantage of it, and they don't upsell you on a screen protector. You have to get them from third parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for me personally, I don't use screen protectors on anything. Like, I don't even use cases on anything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like my iPhone. It's like I don't have a case for it. Um, I don't use a case for like any of my e-readers or e-notes. I don't use like a case for anything. I
Yeah.
just, and that's a total new discussion. It's like, do you use cases on e-readers? I think that's like a good article because like much like screen protectors, a lot of companies will make cases for like their first party cases. Like Amazon
Right.
makes cases. Even Kobo's made like like not even just like a sleep cover case, but a power case for like the
The
Sage,
power
which is like
case.
the first time we've ever seen a case with a battery in it as an
Yep.
optional accessory.
Yep.
So everybody makes cases for their own products. Nobody makes screen protectors. So it's just interesting to see because like I personally don't use cases, but do some people do? I think
Yeah.
that would make a good article and maybe a good discussion for the Goody Reader live on the end of the month. We can kind of talk about that, do some polls, see what the
We
community
can.
thinks, and yeah, we can do that. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap things up?
No, we're good. We have a new series on YouTube. It's unboxing e-paper, where we take these weird kind of devices that we have laying around and we showcase them in a one and done video, and then we give it away at the end. So the first episode is up on YouTube right now, giving away a weird flight tracker e-paper antenna thing that we received. It's a good way to kind of just give back, speed up the contest procedure, and give the little lesser known things like thermometers and things like that away. We're gonna have more contests coming up. We haven't decided what we're gonna give away next. Maybe a Tolino or something like that. And yeah, lots of coverage gonna come up from. We have smartwatches. We have the TCL tablet. We have potential Onyx stuff coming out. The Hisense High Reader review is gonna come out. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff on the docket right now.
Are we getting the new Hisense smartphone?
That doesn't come out till June 6th. It's
Okay.
not even a released yet. Hisense replied to us and said, "Yeah, we'll send you a sample, but we need we need the time to creep more towards when it actually gets released. So June 6th is its official release, so we might have it a little bit before then. Do a video, get everything ready, and then yeah, we'll have some more Hisense stuff.
So there's like iReader stuff that you're going to be doing too, isn't it?
Oh, geez, two high readers are going to be sent over for review as well. Yeah, the Ocean 3 and the whatever, the Smart Reader 4 or something like that. So yeah, a lot of stuff. The Big Me Pocket Note we still need to do. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, so it's more so than ever. So nothing's slowing down. We're backlogged, in fact. We have the Gligo watch, was a really cool watch that we have kicking around. A lot of stuff we need to do. So yeah, stay tuned to YouTube, youtube.com/goodyreader. Just cracked 117,000 subs, so that's very, very much appreciative of all you guys that support our channel and everything. And yeah, we're killing it, and we'll continue to keep snapping necks and cashing checks.
Okay, so just to give you guys a sense on where you can catch us, so we do have our youtube.com/goodyreader where you'll find comprehensive unboxings, e-reader reviews, comparison videos. Peter does his own weekly show where he takes a deeper hour-long look at a specific device where you can get a sense on A to B and Z and everything in between. You can check out our website at goodyreader.com. That is our flagship brand. We report exclusively pretty well on e-paper, e-readers, and e-note news, as
Yep.
well as some miscellaneous things on publishing industry, commentary. We have about 6 writers right now that are on staff to publish stories daily or weekly. So there's always a ton of content that is available for that. And we also have our own online store that you can visit at goodyreader.com/blog/shop. You can also click on that on a navigation bar and visit our store. We have a Shopify store as well, if that is your thing. And we also do shows on for podcasts, so you can catch that on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, audiobooks, and wherever else is your favorite like audiobook network. You can find these shows that Peter and I do, as well as shows that I do by myself, so you can check that out. And thank